is I didn't know it was George asking questions. I'm Billy Kavanaugh and I'm racing 17.5 touring cars today, and I'm just doing some maintenance, I guess. I'm not adjusting anything, I'm not fixing anything, I'm just checking everything straight and square, and that's about it.
Did you say your name was Billy Kavanaugh?
Kavanaugh.
Billy Kavanaugh the Governor. So the car, what's the car you're racing there? Can you tell us a bit about the car?
This is the Awesomatix chassis, which is, I suppose it's a bit like Marmite. People love it or hate it. I love it. Plenty of people hate it.
Why might someone hate it?
It's very different to set up. There's a lot of the other cars are very similar in many ways, and this kind of steps outside and it's very different. I like it because I like tweaking with and playing with the little adjustments and stuff, but if you don't like doing that, it's probably not the chassis for you.
So what things are you checking there as you...
Well, I've just checked the back end. I'm checking my camber and my rear toe on there, and I'm going to swing the car around in a minute, check the front, and I'll do the front camber caster and toe as well, and then I'll check the ride height, and then I'll put it on my little balance tweak station, check that's all square.
And would you do that between every run, or
if I've got
just
time,
when you instinctively feel it needs it?
Well, if I've got time, I'll do it every run. Partly, usually there's nothing wrong with the car, but it's mentally it helps me feel better that the car. I know the car is straight and perfect, so it's easier to concentrate when I'm trying to drive. You know, it takes one thing out of my mind. Even if there was nothing wrong with the car and I didn't have to adjust anything, it just makes me feel a little bit better.
I've noticed that talking to faster drivers, the drivers that seem to be more consistently at the front, they've definitely got a process, and they make it about that process rather than just putting pressure on themselves to do well for the result. So they just absorb their process and go, right, it's about the process, what I'm going to do next, what I'm going to do next.
That's it, yeah, I'll do everything in the same order every time. I always do that, then I do that, all in the same way. If I break the car, say, and you haven't got time between rounds to really check everything, even when I fix the car, then I'll be on the line and the car will be fine, but I'll be a bit like, I don't know, there's a little bit of doubt in my mind, and that will play when I'm driving, that will play on my mind, and it'll make it a bit more difficult. So,
how's the day going for you? What's the meeting here? What is the...
This is King Clubs.
King Clubs, yeah.
This is Colchester, round 4, is that right? Yeah. Round 4, and we've got one more round left at Eastbourne. So this isn't a local track for me. I've only been here a couple of times in the last...
Where are you from?
I'm from Kent. So I'm in between, sort of my closest tracks are Eastbourne, Ada, Aldershot.
And whereabouts are you in Kent? Are you in sort of Brexit land Kent, or more in posh Kent?
I don't know about that. I'm bordering some of the areas you probably wouldn't want to live in, should we say. I mean, just barely in the nicer side.
But Eastbourne is your club and you're driving for Eastbourne Club?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm driving for today.
And some of the other drivers have been telling us a bit about what they like about this series, what they think of it. What's your view of King Clubs?
I like it. It's very... It's not a high stress championship, you know. There's no panic, there's no pressure really. It's not really fussy with the rules and stuff. You don't get caught out on like sort of tiny technicalities or accidentally or whatever, you know. It's easy to turn up and race. And, I miss the 2-day meetings personally, because I liked them too, but I know that's a lot of people didn't like the 2-day meetings, so that's fine.
And what other races what other meetings are you doing? What other race meetings are you doing?
Mostly just King of Clubs really, during the summer anyway. In the winter I'll be at EWS hopefully. And in between I try and get club days. So before this championship I came here a couple of weeks ago for a little practice session. When I have the time I try and go to them. Wherever the next big meeting is, I'll go to that track a couple of times, hopefully, as a club day to try and do a bit of practice, get used to it again.
And if you were talking to someone that didn't know anything about RC racing, they liked cars and things and were thinking about giving it a go, what would you say to them? How would you sell RC racing to someone that didn't know? Someone that landed from Mars and go, what's this about then? Why should I do this?
I say, well, it's just like racing real cars, but much cheaper. Right. I used to race big cars in all different kind of configurations, and I couldn't afford them anymore basically.
Right.
But toy cars are, it still seems expensive, and it is a lot of money, but it's a lot cheaper than real cars. And you don't have to start at this level. You can start with Tamiya's, or I'm not sure what they called now. The GTE Cup or something.
Oh, the GTs.
Yeah, something like that.
Sort of any chassis, really.
Yeah, some of them. They'd be good to get into. Yeah, it's quite difficult. If you can drive a real car fast, you might think you can do this easily, but it's very different driving with just your thumbs. Than you get no feedback from the car. You get no feel back through the steering wheel or anything like that, like you might be used to. So that's the hardest bit for me with driving.
So you've teed up Jake very nicely there with a number of segues. One, driving a real car. If you can drive a real car well, you could think you do this well. Expensive racing. This is a lot cheaper.
I'm accidentally giving you a lot of material there, haven't I?
But I think the question on all of our viewers' lips is you hang out quite a lot with Basil Airbrush, don't you? So
yeah.
Basil Airbrush. Why do you hang out with him?
It's a good question. I don't really know. I live around the corner from him, which is a good start.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I do wonder that myself sometimes. I get mistaken for him sometimes as well.
Do you?
If I often wear a t-shirt with Basil on it, and if he's not there, I often get flagged down and asked to paint body shells and stuff. I'm not sure why, because I don't think I look like him at all.
No, there's definitely more hair on top.
Yeah.
Well, and more hair.
True. Yeah, it's the grey beard, I think. It's the only similarity.
And can you paint a body shell?
No. Not even a one colour.
No.
I can't put the window stickers on. All the paint just goes underneath, and it's not worth it.